many of the works, of course, you told us before, this work start from 1987, if I am correct. So how has your artistic research evolved over the years, and what does it mean for you to, even see this work of yours from the past?
For me, it was very important to go back in the past and to see my work, again, my early works. And it was not the plan, but I did an exhibition in Freising in the Diocese Museum where I made a commission for a huge Arcangelo for the space, for the Diocese Museum. And they asked me to show other works. And for me, it was not so clear what to show next to this archangel. So I dived into my archive and I found these early drawings with the theme of the angel, angel of death, the cages. And for me, it was like, this is the work that I want to show next to my recent work, because it's explaining a lot of things. And being here and having sculptures and drawings next to each other, the different materials, like the cage in iron, the roses in lead, the stuffed animals and blankets. So all these materials, they are coming back in the 30 years that I work as an artist, as a sculptor, and making drawings and collages. So this research was really important for me to make the selection and to make the link also with my recent works.
About the materials, sometimes they dialogue between each other, but they seem even in contrast, because you see sometimes fragility and sometimes hardness. So I want to ask you, what does these materials, represent to you, and where the desire, to create this dialogue come from?
Maybe it's easier to explain it in front of the work. We look here now at this work where you see stuffed animals, and the stuffed animals, they are made out of blankets. But when you look to their shape, they are very human. You see a corpse and hanging tile, some fragments of arms and heads, but they are all very abstract. So they can let you think about them, but they are not perfectly shaped. And the blanket is the material that I was using already in the drawings before. And in the cages that I made before. So the first time that I was using the blanket was not for the stuffed animals, but was for the cages. Before, the cages were more conceptual. They were made out of steel and mirrors already, but no blankets inside. And then the moment that I was using the blanket inside, it was to think about a situation. That the situation inside was warm and nice and the situation outside was cold. So that was the very start to use the blanket, not just as textile, as color, but also material with an aim and with the memory and with the story. And since then, the blanket in my work became very important as material, next to the wax, next to lead, next to iron. It's an ongoing story, you can say.
Before you told that, obviously we can see too that your work of art seemed to dialogue with this old palace, with this old space. So I want to ask you what kind of sensation you are feeling right now, and how much is important this dialogue, between your work of art and this place.
Yeah. It's not the first time that I expose here in that space. In 2019, I did a solo exhibition in the rooms, and during that time, all the works were specially made for each space. Now, this was not the case, so we started from the available works from the period late 80s until 2000, but then also to hang the works here and to see how they dialogue with the space. It feels very natural, because in my work I always continue writing on the history of somebody else. Imagine that all the drawings that I made, they never are made on new paper. And they are old atlases, old papers. In the back there is maybe a letter written. And it's like, okay, I turn the page and I continue. And in the same way, I collect this old pedestal, the old blankets. They are coming from somewhere, somebody's houses. They lived with people. So it's not just textile. And this is what happens here also. Here we come into this space. Someone wrapped off all the layers of wallpaper that has been hanging here during generations and generations. But now this emptiness, it's not, for me it's not empty, it's full of memories and full of aim.
Your work of art here create like, I don't know how to say, like an intense spaces in which you can feel, you know, emotion, even watching it. So I want to ask you, what kind of experience or feeling do you wish, you know, the audience can bring with them?
Yeah, I think there are different themes. We have the motif of the flower, we have the motif of the cage, we have the motif of the bed. So I can imagine that for all of us, you will go back only maybe with one image that touched you the most. And I think when I see the small room where I have the bed on the very tiny and high legs, very fragile, and then when you look to the sculpture, who is made out of all these layers that I cut holes into as a sort of parasite that was eating the very intimate bed. It has nothing to do with our beds, but just the idea that this intimacy is taking over by something violent. And on the other hand, when you look to the beauty of these patterns and the colors in this bed, and then the nice cushions and seat, so this feeling of sort of something very positive, and also at the end something very negative. This, I think, is a situation, and it's still a situation where we live into today. There is a lot of beauty, there is a lot of love, but there is also a lot of horror and war around us. And I think for me this piece is a sort of synthesis of how I feel our daily life still. And even when it is a work was made out in 2000, that is still ongoing, these topics, and that I am still can be creative with what's happened around me to try to give people some answers or to show them that they are not alone with their questions.